Let me share a number with you that I think reframes the whole conversation about grassroots advocacy. According to a recent study of over 1,000 voters by the Beekeeper Group, when people are asked to take action on a social or political issue, 76% of them actually do it. That's 3 in 4. That is a remarkably high response rate. So the problem isn't getting people to raise their hand. The problem is what you do after their hand gets raised. That's what today's episode is all about. Welcome back to Policy Wins. I'm Tommy Zai, an onboarding consultant here at Quorum. Today, we're diving into grassroots advocacy, specifically how to build a base that doesn't just respond to one campaign and go cold, but actually grows, stays engaged, and multiplies your reach over time. We've got fresh data from the Beekeeper Group's Future of Advocacy Research Report to back all this up. Let's get into it. Here's something the Beekeeper Group data makes very clear. The moment right after someone takes action is the most valuable moment in your entire advocacy program, and most organizations squander it. Their research found that 80% of people who take advocacy action go on to research the issue or cause further. 80%. That's not a passive audience. That's a curious one. They just did something. They're engaged. They want to understand more. And then most programs send them the next campaign email, or nothing at all. The Beekeeper Group calls this the post-action moment. It's a spike in curiosity and openness that most organizations aren't designed to capitalize on. 78% of people who take action expect to hear from you again. 62% say they actually want some kind of follow-up. The implication for growth is this. Your biggest recruiting opportunity isn't cold outreach to people who've never heard of you. It's to people who just took their first action. That's when they're most likely to go deeper, share this with their network, and become the kind of advocate who's still with you 2 years from now. Turn on social media sharing for all of your grassroots campaigns if you want to have this kind of growth. Let your current advocates do the recruiting for you. The Beekeeper Group found that people want to be interested and motivated, not just urgent and annoyed. Give them something worth sharing. Now let's talk about getting people in the door in the first place, because the Beekeeper Group data also surfaced something really useful here. 55% of voters say they haven't even been contacted by an advocacy organization yet. More than half of the potential pool is completely untapped. The barrier isn't motivation. 74% of people already see themselves as civically engaged. The barrier is friction. Every extra step between someone and taking action is a place where you lose some people. So make it as easy as possible. Campaigns should be short, clear, and require minimal number of clicks to complete. Autofill registration forms wherever you can. People can always correct anything that's wrong, but having to fill out a long form from scratch is where a lot of people bail. You don't need their life story for them to take action. Ask for only what you actually need. The Beekeeper Group found something interesting here too. You don't need a long courtship before someone takes action. People will often take an action first, and that becomes their entry point into your movement. Let them leapfrog the joining process. Get them doing something and deepen the relationship from there. On the data side, you also need to know who's in your base. Segment your advocates by issue area, activity level, and geography. Know which district they're all in. When a bill moves in a specific region, you don't want to blast your entire list. You want to activate the 20 people who actually live there and care about that specific issue. That kind of precision is what separates a large list from an effective one. Getting someone to take their first action is the beginning, not the end. The programs that build real power are the ones that keep advocates engaged in the urgent moments. Don't only come to your advocates when you need something from them. Let them know how the last session went. Celebrate the big wins. Be honest about any losses. The Beekeeper Group's data shows that advocates want follow-through. They want to know their action mattered and that the organization they supported is actually working towards something real. Show your progress publicly when you can. How many people have signed up for a campaign? How many messages have been sent to legislators? Progress indicators keep people feeling like they're part of something moving forward, not just clicking a button into the void. And recognize your most engaged advocates. Track who your high activity people are, the ones who take action consistently, who share your campaigns, who bring in new advocates. These are your grass tops. Acknowledge them. Give them more responsibility if they want it. A well-cultivated grass tops network is one of the most powerful assets in public affairs, and it costs almost nothing to build. Every advocacy list has people who go cold. They took an action once, maybe twice, and then stopped opening emails. That's normal. The question is what you do about it. The Beekeeper Group's research is clear that data helps enormously when encouraging advocates to take action. Statistics can show the importance of an issue, the impact of a campaign, and the stakes of inaction. Use that to your advantage when you're reaching out to someone who's lapsed. Here's how to think about it practically. Track your open rates and click rates so you know when activity drops. And when it does, don't send a generic re-engagement email blast. Use what you know about each advocate. If you've tracked their issue interests, reach out with something relevant to them specifically. For example, say Chris hasn't taken any action in the last 3 campaigns and hasn't opened an email in 2 months. You can see that Chris has historically taken action on campaigns related to wildfire prevention. So you reach out to Chris, and others like Chris, with a targeted update on wildfire legislation, or a new campaign where their voice will matter. That's not just better for engagement rates, it's also more respectful of Chris's time and interest. Advocates who don't take action have limited value to your program. Keeping that lapse number low is one of the highest leverage things you can do for long-term effectiveness. Here's what I want you to hold on to from today. The appetite for advocacy is there. 3 in 4 people who are asked to act actually do it. The problem isn't motivation, it's what happens after that first action and whether your program is designed to deepen the relationship or just move on to the next campaign. Lower the barrier to entry. Show people their progress and impact. Follow up after every action. Re-engage the people who went quiet using the issues they actually care about. Let your advocates recruit for you. Do those things consistently, and you're not managing a list, you are building a movement. For more on the data behind today's episode, I highly recommend checking out the Beekeeper Group's Future of Advocacy Research Report. It's full of insight on how voters actually respond to grassroots outreach in 2026. If this episode was useful for you, share it with someone who's building out their advocacy program. That's exactly who we make this for. I'm Tommy Zai. Thanks for listening to Policy Wins.